Welcome back, everyone. Maté Talk, episode 6. If you're new to this conversation, have a look here. This is my mate. Hope you have a drink. I will be talking about a few things that were raised in earlier Maté Talks, one of them being all about creed, but I'm going to save that to the end. The one thing that I would like to bring up, now I don't know if you saw the earlier video that we did for with Oligarch on George Zaharoff. So we did an evening with George Zaharoff and had a chance for people to join us in this conversation and experience fragrances alongside us. So it was an online event through Zoom. We sent out samples to everyone. They bought a seat and everyone got a sample, and we all experienced the fragrance collectively across Australia. It was a thrilling event. Anyway, the event was a success, and a lot of people who were involved said, it would be great to do something like this again. So Kevin and I put our brains together. That's 2 brains equals 1 very big brain. And we've come up with a new concept, which is an evening at Oligarch. There we go. An evening at Oligarch. It's on the 22nd of April. We reached out to a number of brands that Oligarch have, and we had a great response, actually. We had to limit it down to 3 because what we wanted to do was only focus on 10 fragrances. I think more than 10 fragrances in a 1.5 hour sitting might be too much. It sort of blows your brain a little bit and you don't know what's what anymore. So we were able to secure 3 awesome brands, Gritty, Kajal, and Argos. And these 3 brands are involved, and I'll tell you what they're doing, which is pretty exciting. Now, Kevin has actually curated from their library of fragrances, and we're going to be focusing on 10 fragrances from those 3 brands. And there's something for everybody. The idea is that we want to cover all the fragrance families. So if you like florals, or if you like ambers, which is the Orientals, fruity, etc., then it'll definitely be part of that lineup. Now, the brands, the 3 houses, have actually given us bottles for free, and we're going to be using them as incentives on the night or as giveaways for anyone who joins us. Now, the cost for the evening is $50, and Oligarch are being generous to provide a credit back. So that money that you put into it, you'll be able to use it as a credit for any purchases on the evening. And then, as I said, there will be incentives. So if you buy 2 bottles, you'll go into the draw of winning either a Kajal. Actually, we've got 3 bottles to give away. A Kajal, a Argos, or a Gritty, which is pretty awesome. And the Gritty bottle is actually one that hasn't been released as yet. It's part of their new collection, so it's pretty exciting. Give me 1 second. Sorry, my mouth went all dry. Now, today I want to talk about, let me just say, the Fragrance Du Bois video that I put out on Sunday got a great response. A lot of people saying, try this one, try that one, which I do love Fragrance Du Bois. I think they make exceptional fragrances. And I had a recommendation on a number of fragrances that I haven't experienced. So I'm going to do a video. I'm going to do, I think like I did last time with Kevin, sort of ambush him, and we'll do some. So I will test those fragrances, but I want to do a video just for that on one of the Maté Talks. The one that I want to focus on today is by a subscriber called Rafa Priscilla. Now I'm going to make an assumption it's a lady. I think the thumbnail did look like, have a look here, it looked like a lady, kind of. It was just like a side angle, so you couldn't quite see it properly. And the fragrance that she mentioned that she would like a recommendation, and I am open, so I'm going to give you my thoughts on this, but if anyone out there has had a chance to test out Decadence by Marc Jacobs, please feel free to help out Rafa Priscilla, as there was like a crying emoji. And look, I've been looking for the fragrance to smell it so I can reference it. I think it's been discontinued, hence the crying emoji. In looking at the notes, I thought the 2 that I would like to put forward, one is this one here, which is Gajah-Mada. I don't know what it means, but it's a cool name. I mean, look at this bottle. It's the company's called LUDIN, French company, and this perfume, I mean, they do things like Upper 10. Many people may have heard of that, Upper 10. The other one that they have is Iodol, I think it's called. That's another gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance. Anyway, this is the one that I love. Similar to Decadence, it has a fruit note, plum in particular, so this one also has plum. In the opening, it has some florals in the heart. This one also has some beautiful florals in the heart. And then it dries down to woods and things of that nature. Now, this one here has patchouli. I am a fan of patchouli. I do like the patchouli note. It's not over the top, so it's not like a psychedelic or anything like that. But there is a slight mustiness to the patchouli. However, those early fruit notes, and I think it also has quince, another one of my favorite notes. And it's just, this fragrance is exceptional. Now, this one here, I'm gonna say, when looking at it, Decadence looked a little bit female leaning. This one here can be female leaning, I guess, but I wear it. My sons actually love wearing this too. My wife wears this, so this is one, even if you're not looking as a replacement to Decadence, this is an awesome fragrance. I'm gonna do a review on this. I really, really love this house, and this particular fragrance is exceptional. Now, back to you, Rafa Priscilla. This other one, a lot of people have heard of this, and this is Ani by NISHANE. Awesome fragrance. Now, one thing that I noticed is that Decadence does fall in the floral amber, which is the old floral orientals. Well, actually, floral oriental is the old floral ambers. And Ani is very much the same, so it falls in the same category. The difference with Ani is it does have a vanilla note to it. So if you don't like vanilla in your fragrance, but it's a subtle vanilla. Let me just point out, it's not like over the top sickly or anything like that. Very subtle. This is a gorgeous, spectacular, beautiful fragrance. Plays well on a man, plays well on a woman. Yeah, a real favorite of mine. So if you want to check, they're two recommendations. If anyone else would like to put some recommendations forward, please feel free. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about was Creed. So last week let me have a drink again. So Maté gives you energy. It makes me think clearly. One of the things that we spoke about last week, and I put the question out to everybody, was tell me what your thoughts are on Creed. I had a question raised by Leonard, and he asked me, what do I think about the Creed history? It's all to do, so I guess the question is intertwined with the book, The Ghost Perfumer, and how the author is proposing that there is no Creed history. It's all fabricated. It's all a marketing ploy. And in fact, if anything, Creed can be acknowledged for is being awesome marketers and not so much as anything else. So I don't agree, and this is, and I know that sets me up, for people to go, well, look at the facts. So one person that did write in, and I loved the comments here. I'll put here. He goes by the handle of EMCUEAY, I think it was. His name is Quasim. I've been having awesome conversations with Quasim. He seems like a real. I think he's a he, yeah, just great conversations. And one of the things that I love that he said, and he said this he said, in typical internet forum tomfoolery, I am now an expert. And then he proceeded to share his views on something. So in that similar spirit, in the YouTube tomfoolery or YouTube forum tomfoolery, I am now also going to be an expert. And I put forward the fact that one thing that's part of the Creed mythology or lore is that they didn't become a public-facing company until 1970. That's when they started selling to customers, to the public. Up until then, they'd been basically selling to diplomats and dignitaries and royalty and stuff of that nature. Now, one of the things that Quasim mentioned in his comments, and this is where I want to draw on, is that you would have, there is a reference point for these companies. So if Creed was as old as it say they are, then we would have all these artifacts to validate that they're real. My only counter sort of point on that is because they were only doing things for dignitaries and things of that nature, that maybe not necessarily they mass produce bottles. I mean, let's take a company like Clive Christian, where we know that they were established in 1872, and a little bit further back than that, but 1872 is the big release. And there is bottles of old Clive Christian bottles that are there because they were public facing. They were selling product to the mass public. Whereas in this case here, we know that they were making bespoke products. In Creed's case, they were making bespoke products for these individuals, and primarily for them and nobody else, you see. So would they necessarily have mass-produced their Creed bottles to accommodate that? And so my short answer is probably not. But again, I don't know. One thing that I did, now I am Mr. Crazy Idea Guy in my family. I've always coming up with these wild ideas. And one idea that I pitched to my wife a few days ago is, wouldn't it be cool if we, as in her and I, or the team here, we created a documentary on discovering the history of Creed. And in the same sort of style as, for those who saw the movie called Super Size Me, where it was sort of tongue-in-cheek, it was kind of fun. It's not a 60 minutes expose or anything like that. But yeah, wouldn't it be cool to have a documentary of finding the House of Creed and going out there and, I mean, a fanboy like me, looking to see if we could find the roots of Creed. I wonder if Olivier would want to talk to me on that. I'll have to maybe send him an email. Anyway, that's it. That is me for Maté Talk. Please put in your comments. Love to hear what you think about. And actually, do we want to talk more about the House of Creed, or are we done? I guess, unfortunately, and I've said this before, unfortunately, I'm a super biased fanboy. You've seen my videos. I have pretty much all their fragrances. So I don't know if I'm the right guy to give you balanced feedback. I do enjoy their perfumes. And now, actually, one last point on that, and this is where I always settle on. So what if it is all very clever marketing? What if there was no 1730, I think it was, when James Henry Creed first established it, yada yada. I always go back to the basic, and that is I don't care. It's a cool story and I love telling it. But at the end of the day, I live in the moment and now, and right now the moment says that I enjoy these fragrances. I enjoy wearing the collection that I do have. So anyway, that's me. Thanks everyone. Look forward to your comments, and we'll see you all next week on the next Maté Talk. There was too much water in here. I was too busy talking.